Hi and Happy New Year! This is the final session of the Christmas Yoga series with me and Chrissy, and today we're going to be looking at inversions. So an inversion is any pose where your head and your heart are lower than your hips. So that could be a seated forward fold, it could be standing forward fold, downward facing dog, or headstand, shoulder stand, handstand even. But we're just going to look at some more sort of preparatory poses for some of the latter poses that I mentioned. The benefits of doing inversions can be many. They can be increasing circulation, increasing the lymphatic drainage for the nervous system, and they're also good strengtheners for the shoulders, the legs, the back and the core. And they're also a bit of fun as well, and they give us a different perspective on the world, sort of both sort of literally, metaphorically as well, because we're just turning ourselves completely upside down. So it can sort of help to break old habits and sort of just give a new perspective on the world, which is good for this time of year, the new year.
Very much so.
So we're going to start seated to begin with. So finding a comfortable seat, whether that's cross-legged on the knees. You could even sit in a chair to start with if you preferred. So just resting the hands either on top of the knees or in the lap. Sitting up nice and tall, letting the shoulders fall down the back of the neck nice and long. Maybe closing the eyes or just finding a soft focus on the floor at a spot in front of you. And then we're just going to start to focus on the breath. So just breathing in and out through the nose. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths to begin with. Just noticing where you feel the breath. Noticing if you're holding any tension in the body, particularly the shoulders, seeing if you can just release it with each exhalation. Good. And then just starting to slightly restrict the back of the throat, coming into Ujjayi breath, victorious breath, that nice warming, wave-like breath. So this is just the breath that we use to just keep us focused, keep us present throughout the practice. Particularly when we come across more challenging poses, it's good to always just come back to the breath, just to help keep that sense of calm. Good, so just a couple more deep breaths like that. Really coming into the present, letting go of the outside world, any distractions, getting ready for the practice, the physical practice. So when you're ready, just blinking open the eyes, taking a moment to let the eyes adjust, and then coming onto the hands and knees. Just starting to wake up the spine to begin with, so a few rounds of cat-cow. So spreading the hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, toes can either be tucked under or top of the feet flat to the floor. And then on your exhalation, you're just going to push the floor away, feeling the shoulder blades separate, arms strong. And then as you inhale, just letting the shoulder blades come together, the chest drops, widening across the front of the collarbones. And then exhaling, pressing the floor away, cat pose. So building that strong foundation for poses like downward facing dog, handstand, etc. Coming back through cow pose. And then exhaling. Again, arching through the back. Noticing the position of the shoulders. Strength. Inhaling, coming back through, and exhaling. So coming one more time through cow pose, and then this time as you exhale, coming back into cat, and then taking the knees wide, toes touching, coming back to sit on the heels, stretching the arms forward, forehead comes down towards the floor, maybe coming up onto fingertips, activating the arms, really stretching through the upper body, stretching the hips down towards the heels. Taking a couple more breaths here. Good, and then slowly coming back up onto all fours, just bringing the knees underneath the hips, and then just start to walk the arms away from you as far as you can, and then just start to drop the forearms down towards the floor. So keep squeezing the forearms towards each other, letting the forehead drop down, hips are above the knees still, so slightly different pose. This is called puppy dog pose. Still nice upper body stretch, shoulder stretch. And then slowly lifting up, start to walk the hands back underneath you, so maybe slightly ahead of the shoulders. Again, pushing down with the fingertips, really creating that strong connection with the floor. And then tucking the toes under, pushing the hips back as far as you can. Start to lift the knees up off the floor, coming into downward facing dog. So keep the knees bent to begin with, trying to keep the upper body as long as you can. Just letting the head relax, keeping the shoulders sort of drawn back, room for the neck. And then coming all the way up onto tiptoes, then slowly, one at a time, maybe dropping the heels towards the floor. Just have a little pedal through the feet, if that feels good. Just stretching through the back of the legs. So this is our first real inversion, which is downward facing dog. So the head and the shoulders are below the hips. And just feeling the blood maybe moving more into the head, the upper body. So we're working against gravity. Normally we're just upright, so the heart has to work hard to pump the blood all the way around. So we're just giving it a little bit of a break. Doesn't have to work quite so hard to bring the blood back up to the upper body. Good. So just pausing in downward dog. And then looking towards the hands. Just starting to walk the feet towards the hands. Coming into a gentle forward fold. So keeping the feet maybe about hip width apart. Knees soft. Just letting the upper body hang. Maybe holding the backs of the arms. You can also sway the upper body from side to side. Just staying nice and relaxed. And then just releasing the arms. On your next inhalation, you're going to bring the hands to the knees or the thighs, stretching the chest forward, coming into a half forward fold, straightening through the legs. Keep lifting the back of the pelvis, sit bones up towards the ceiling. And then on the next exhalation, just slowly folding forward over the legs. Coming into a forward fold again, maybe this time seeing if you can straighten the legs a little bit more. Good, and then bring the hands to the waist, soft through the knees, slowly coming all the way up to stand, head comes up last. Releasing the arms. And just taking a moment just to notice how you feel, just letting the blood flow back down again. Making sure you're not feeling dizzy at all. And then bring the hands together in front of the chest. We'll just do a couple of rounds of a half sun salute and then we'll come into some lunge salutations. So inhaling, reaching the arms above the head. And then exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, coming up halfway, bring the hands to the shins, the knees, stretching the chest forward, straightening the legs. Exhaling, fold. Inhale, raise the arms above the head. And then exhaling, hands to the heart. Again, inhaling up. Exhaling, fold. Inhaling, coming up halfway. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, raise the arms. And then exhaling, hands to the heart. One more look. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling up halfway. Exhaling, fold. And then inhaling, reaching the arms up tall, lifting up through the fingertips. And then exhaling, hands to the chest. So coming through some lunge salutations. Inhaling, reaching the arms up. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling up halfway. And then exhaling, hands to the floor, stepping back with the right foot, coming into a lunge, just keeping the back knee raised for a minute, lifting through the chest. And then exhaling, just drop the knee to the floor. Inhale, sweeping the arms above the head, reaching up tall. And then exhaling, hands down to the floor, lift the back knee, step back into downward facing dog. Good. From here, taking a breath. And then first option is to drop the knees. And then step the right foot through and forward. Coming onto fingertips, lifting the back knee, coming into a lunge. And then stepping to the front. Inhaling up halfway. Exhaling, fold. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhaling, hands to heart. Other side. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling, coming up halfway. Exhaling, hands to the floor. Step back with the left foot. Keeping the back knee raised. Lifting the chest. And then exhale, drop the back knee. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. And then exhaling, bring the hands down. Lift the back knee, step back, downward facing dog. Taking a breath in downward dog. And then just dropping the knees to the floor. On your next inhale, stepping the left foot through. Lifting the back knee, coming into a lunge. And then exhaling, stepping to the front. Inhaling, coming up halfway. Exhaling, fold. Inhale, raising the arms. And then exhaling, hands to the heart. Again, inhaling up. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, coming up halfway. Exhaling, hands down, step back, right foot. And then drop the back knee. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhaling, hands down, stepping back, downward dog. Inhaling here. And then exhaling, either dropping the knees or just stepping the right foot through and forward. As many steps as you need. Coming into a lunge. Inhaling here. And then exhaling, stepping to the front. Inhaling up halfway. Exhaling, fold. Inhale, raising the arms. Exhaling, hands to the heart. Again, inhaling up. Exhaling, fold. Inhaling, coming up halfway. And then exhaling, hands down, stepping back with the left foot. Dropping the back knee. Inhale, raising the arms. Exhaling, hands down. Stepping back, downward dog. Inhaling here. And then exhaling, either drop the knees or step the left foot through and forward. Coming into a lunge. Inhaling. And then exhaling, stepping to the front. Inhaling up halfway. Exhaling, fold. Inhale, raise the arms. And then exhaling, hands to the heart. Good, slightly different now. Inhaling, raising the arms up. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, coming up halfway. And then exhaling, stepping back into downward facing dog. Inhaling, rocking forward to plank. Pressing the floor away. Exhaling, taking it back. Inhale to plank. And exhale back. Just starting to warm the shoulders. Inhaling forward. And exhaling back. Couple more. Inhaling. And exhaling. Inhaling. Holding here. And then exhaling, either dropping the knees or lowering straight down like a press up all the way onto your belly. So we're going to start to work the core a little bit more now. So just bring the forearms to the floor, so elbows are underneath the shoulders, hands are spread into the floor, or you could just lightly clasp the hands in front of you. So as you inhale here, you're just going to lift and widen through the chest, drawing the elbows back towards the hip points. And then as you exhale, you're going to start to peel the belly up off the floor, the thighs, just coming up onto the knees. And then inhaling, lowering back down again, widening through the chest, draw the elbows back. And exhaling, curling the belly, the thighs, hips off the floor. And then inhaling back. And then exhaling again, peeling the belly, hips, thighs off the floor. And then back. So just very simple but effective sort of little core strengthener. Just bringing a bit of awareness to the middle of the body and also the shoulders as well. So good for our dolphin pose, which we're going to finish with. And then back down again, this time holding here, inhaling. And then exhaling. Just bring the hands either side of the ribs, pressing back into downward facing dog. Good. Inhaling, a couple of breaths here. Really pressing the floor away, squeezing the biceps towards each other. And then inhaling, looking between the hands. Exhaling, bending the knees, and then walk, step, or hop if you want, to the front. Inhaling up halfway. Exhaling, fold. Inhale, raising the arms. And then exhaling, hands to the heart. Again, inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, fold. Inhaling up halfway. And then exhaling, hands to the floor, stepping back, downward dog. Inhale, rock to plank. And exhaling back to dog. Inhale forwards. And exhaling back. Inhale forwards. Exhaling back. Inhaling forwards. And then exhaling, lowering down. So either knees to the floor or lower like a push-up. Bring the elbows underneath you, either hands separated, pressing the hands down into the floor, or clasping the hands lightly. So inhaling here, lifting the chest. And then exhaling, just start to peel the belly, the hips, thighs up off the floor, just holding here this time, rather than moving in and out of the pose. And then you've got an option here to tuck the toes under, lift the knees up off the floor, coming into forearm plank. And then we're going to hold it for 5 breaths. That's 5, 4. So really engaging the thighs, trying to draw the belly away from your t-shirt, hanging down in front of you. Keep pressing the elbows down, pushing the forearms into the floor. 1 more breath. And then slowly lowering all the way down. Inhaling, lifting the chest, drawing the elbows back. And then exhaling, hands either side of the ribs. Inhaling, lifting up onto all fours. And exhaling, pushing back, downward facing dog. Spreading the hands into the floor, really pressing the floor away. Knees can be bent slightly if you need them to be. And then stepping your left foot to the centre of the mat. Just stepping it in a little bit towards the right foot, that's what I meant to say. And then just raising the right leg. There we go. So keep lifting the right leg up. It's good that I've got Chrissy here to demonstrate when I'm not making sense. Good, so becoming just one-legged dog. Keep lifting the right leg up. And then bring the right foot down again. So placing the right foot where the left foot was, and then raising the left leg. Lifting up nice and tall. Good, one-legged dog. And then bring the left foot down. Just starting to walk the feet towards the hands, coming into forward fold. Just allowing the body to hang there for a moment. Good. And then coming up halfway, stretching the chest forward. A couple of breaths here. And then exhaling, folding down. Bending the knees slightly, reaching the arms above the head. And then exhaling, hands to the heart. Good. So stepping the feet together in front of you. And then we're going to take a big step out to the right. So you're coming into a wide stance. So your toes are facing the side edge of your mat or turning slightly in. And then we're going to come into a twist, so reaching the arms out wide. And then exhaling, just turning to take the right hand down to the left leg. Left arm reaches up. So really lengthening through the spine. And then inhaling, coming back up again. And then exhaling, turning to the right, reaching the right arm up. Keep lengthening through the spine again on the inhalation.
You can really feel that down the inside of your leg, can't you?
Yeah, definitely. And then inhaling, coming back up again. Arms out wide, and then exhale, just bring the hands behind you, interlacing the fingers, still coming to a little shoulder stretch, so drawing the knuckles back. If you can't hold the hands, then you can always clasp the elbows instead. That's it. And then exhaling, just starting to hinge forward from the hips, either coming parallel with the floor, if that's enough for the hamstrings, or you might be able to take the crown of the head down. And then slowly coming all the way back up again. Good. Just releasing the arms, turning to face the top of the mat. So bring the hands together in front of the heart. Inhale, reaching the arms up. And then exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, coming up halfway. And then exhaling, stepping back into plank. Inhaling in plank, pressing the floor away. And then exhaling, lower down. Keeping the hands either side of the ribs. Inhaling, lifting the chest, coming into cobra pose. And then exhaling, pushing back into child's pose. Good, so just resting for a moment. We'll come into some little shoulder stretches and shoulder openers just before we come into dolphin pose. So slowly walking the hands back towards the knees. And just staying sat on the knees, just interlacing the hands in front of you. Start to push the palms away. Inhaling, lifting the arms up tall. And then exhaling, just bending the elbows, stretching through the front of the chest. And then you're going to wrap the right arm on top of the left. So you're crossing them in front of you. Then bend at the elbows, seeing if you can catch hold of the hand or the thumb or the wrist. Start to lift the elbows. So if you can't quite bind the hands, you can always just extend the right arm instead, coming into a stretch like this. Good. And then releasing out. So interlacing the hands the awkward feeling way, the way that you didn't do before. So opposite thumb on top, pushing the palms away. Inhaling, reaching up. And then exhaling, separating the arms, bring them down, crossing the left arm on top of the right this time, and then bending at the elbows, catching hold of the hand, the wrist or the thumb. Start to lift the elbows.
This side's harder than the other one.
Yeah. Yeah, one side we usually feel a little bit tighter than the other, depending on your sort of more dominant side or whatever you've been doing with that arm. Good. And then releasing out. So this next pose is where you really will notice a difference in size. I know I definitely do. So you're going to bring the right arm up. So bring the hand so between the shoulder blades, and then you can either take the left hand just to hold on to the elbow and just start to really lift the right elbow up towards the ceiling, resting the back of the head against the arm. Or then maybe see if you can bring the left arm behind you, so between the shoulder blades, and maybe you can catch hold of the fingers in a monkey grip, or maybe you can just catch hold of your t-shirt just so you've got something to sort of resist against. So try not to let the back arch and the belly pop out, just keep the ribs drawing in. Keep lifting that right elbow up towards the ceiling. If you've got the monkey grip, then maybe try pulling the hands apart slightly. And then releasing out. So changing sides, so see how the other side feels. I know this is, I think, my more difficult side.
Yes.
So bring the left hand between the shoulder blades, bring the right hand to hold the left elbow to start with, either staying here, or maybe you can bring the right hand behind you and then see if you can catch hold of the other hand in a monkey grip, or catch hold of your t-shirt and then resist against each other. I know it took me a very long time to actually be able to reach the hand on this side. Like the other side was absolutely fine, but this one just much tighter for some reason. Good. And then slowly releasing out. So now just give the shoulders a little roll. We're going to come into our dolphin pose. So yes, click, click, click. So I will get Chrissy to demonstrate. So bringing the forearms down onto the floor. Good. So Chrissy's got her hands separated with the hands pressing down into the floor. So this is a good one for stability. Sometimes you might find though that once you come up into dolphin pose, your elbows start to sort of splay out a little bit. So you're trying to keep the elbows sort of in line with the shoulders. It doesn't matter if they splay out a little bit, but what you don't want is like the hands to start creeping towards each other and then the forehead coming down towards the floor and ending up in a face plant. So another option would be is to maybe just clasp the hands instead, which gives you a little bit more stability as well. So see how you feel, see what your preference is.
And a good little trick with your elbows is to bring them in a little bit narrower, and then you can roll them out so your skin on your forearm kind of locks to the mat.
Yeah, as Chrissy has rolled up her sleeves to demonstrate.
Exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't work with your t-shirt sort of covering your arms so well. So we'll start off coming into forearm plank. So just walking the feet out, really pressing down into the forearms, really sort of widening across the shoulder blades. So she's really creating that strong base. And then to come into dolphin, you just start to walk the feet towards the elbows. So that's good. So obviously the closer towards the elbows the feet get, the more weight is going into the shoulders, the more challenging the pose is. So you can always walk your feet in and out a few times just to see where it's good for you. And then you can either hold the pose here, or if you like, you can come into a moving dolphin. So as you inhale, you come forward, you bring your chest forward.
I find the moving one is easier with clasped hands.
Yeah, definitely. So you inhaling forward, so chin towards the hands, and then exhaling, pressing back. So just moving like that. And just doing as many rounds as you feel comfortable doing. You can always take a rest and come back into it. So for time, we're just going to do a few and then come back. You can always drop the knees and just take a brief child's pose before we do our final version of this. So I'll demonstrate on the side so you can see as well. So final version, coming into dolphin, either hands clasped or hands separated, and then lifting the knees up off the floor, maybe walking the feet in a little bit, and then we're just going to try raising one leg. So you're really trying to reach up through the extended leg, through the toes, so you feel like that little bit of lift. It's almost as if you could, if you reached up a little bit more, you could almost lift the standing toes up off the floor. So you're trying to feel that sense of lightness. Good. And then changing sides. So lifting up, reaching up through the top leg, extending, pushing down into the forearms. Good. And then when you're ready, slowly coming back down again. Taking a brief child's pose.
Click.
Click, click. What was that?
My elbows.
Ooh. Good. So really good upper body strengthener. And then just coming up onto the knees, just swinging the legs around. We'll just take a brief twist, so sitting cross-legged maybe, or just on the knees, and just turning out to the right. So sitting up tall, lengthening through the spine, looking over the right shoulder. And then turning other side. And then coming back to centre, just extending the legs. So just moving the sit bones out the way, pressing through the heels, the inhaling, reaching the arms up. And then exhaling, just starting to hinge forward from the waist. So maybe you can reach down and catch hold of the ankles or the feet. If you're feeling like you're rolling back a little bit, you can always place the hands behind you onto fingertips and just really think about lengthening the spine up out of the waist. So wherever you are, just allowing the breath to slow, body to relax. And then when you're ready, just coming to lie on your back. So when you're lying down, you can either lie with the feet on the floor and the knees touching, or you can bring the soles of the feet together in reclined cobbler's pose. Just let the arms either rest on the belly or just down by the side of you. So just letting the hips release. And then slowly just extending the legs, coming into Shavasana, relaxation, closing the eyes, relaxing the breath, just letting the shoulders melt down, the back, making room for them, just feeling widening across the front of the chest. This whole body just melting down into the floor. And just noticing any sensations through the body from the practice, any energetic shifts or changes. Just letting the mind drift. Trying not to get involved with any thoughts. And then either staying here for as long as you can, or if it's time for you to finish and get on with your day, then just slowly starting to move through the fingers and the toes, wrists and the ankles. And then when you're ready, just reaching the arms up over the head, take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, sigh out the mouth. And then one at a time, draw the knees back into the chest, bring the arms back overhead. holding on to the front of the shins, giving yourself a little hug, maybe swaying from side to side. And then, in your own time, just rolling over onto your right and pressing yourself back up to sit, watching out for the furniture. And then sitting up tall, bring the hands together in front of the chest, pressing the palms together, and then bowing the head. Namaste. Thank you very much for practicing with us today. Hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully see you back at the gym very soon.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.